Danny, first of all, thank you for your business. I think you're going to love this International LoneStar. Gorgeous truck inside and out. As you'll see when you get it, it's like new. But I wanted to take a quick minute and just kind of go around it for you, so when you do receive the truck, you'll be pretty familiar with what we got. So we'll start with the outside compartments. We'll make a quick pass around the outside, and then we'll do the interior. Starting off in the first bay here on the passenger side. To open this one, you have to open this one first. You kind of see there. So there's just latches on each. To open the first compartment, you got to open the second. They built a lip behind it just to help keep it more stable going down the road. But open these up. In this first compartment, you have your house batteries. So these are the batteries that control everything from the back of the cab to the rear of the truck. Those batteries are going to run things like your 12-volt system. It's going to run the thermostats for your air conditioning. It's going to run your refrigerator if you're running it on 12-volt. So anything house-related from the back of the cab to the rear of the truck is controlled by these batteries. So, for instance, if your engine was dead on, if your batteries were dead on your truck, this is not the batteries you would jump. These are for the house side. Down in here you've got your inverter, which what the inverter does, it takes 12 volts and turns it into 120. So I'll show you when we get inside the inverter panel, but the big guy down here, the white box underneath there is the inverter. It's a Magnum Synwave series, so it's kind of the newest, latest, greatest out. But these batteries are maintenance free, so you shouldn't really ever have to do anything to them. And if you keep the toter plugged in whenever you're not using it, the inverter also has an onboard charger, and it will recharge the batteries while it's setting. So that takes care of that compartment. So we'll shut this one first. As you can see, it's got a little lip on the side. This second compartment here is your fresh water tank. So when you fill the truck up with water, this is where it's going to hold the fresh water. There is a drain. I'll have Miss Nancy here kind of zoom in, but you can see there's a valve down here, a T-handle looking valve. If you open that, that will drain the water. So if the toter had set for a couple months and you want to get fresh water in it, and you want to get the old water out, you can drain it down here. All right, we'll move on back. This one here is going to be your propane tank. So the propane does a couple things. It's going to run your hot water heater, which is here. It's going to run your fridge. If you're wanting to run the fridge without having the generator on or without having the shore power plugged in, the propane runs your fridge, your hot water heater, and your furnace. So you can make heat with it, heat your water, or run your fridge with a propane. And the tank, it is an onboard tank. So similar to what you'll see in most RVs, but you can pull up to anywhere that can fill a propane tank like you would put on a grill. They can fill this guy. So just find you a place that's easy to get into. You probably have to fill it once a year if you use the truck a lot, every 2 or 3 years if you don't use it a lot. It's on about half, a little over half, maybe 5/8 full right now. We'll go around the back. You'll notice that there's 2 gooseneck balls. So depending on the trailer you're pulling and how far forward the gooseneck ball is, you can use the front or the rear. Most of the time you're going to use the one on the back, because if you have a trailer and the gooseneck goes down on the ball and it gets to the trailer gets too close to the truck, then when you're trying to turn, it could damage it. So between the back of the truck to your trailer, you want at least about 2.5 to 3 foot. So more than likely you'll use the rear ball. You can use the front one if needed. And like I told you when we had talked originally, it would be easy to have a 5th wheel plate or deck mounted on this. So any truck shop that does truck maintenance or semi repairs could order a 5th wheel plate and bolt on if needed. You also have a regular receiver if you're wanting to pull a bumper pull trailer. You've got connectors for your lights here. The connectors for the trailer you would pull with a gooseneck are up here. It's got glad hand fittings if the trailer's air ride, so all that's up on the back deck. We'll start with the rear compartment back here. So this one here is the same way. You got to open the second one to get the rear one open. So we open these guys up, and basically what this is your gray sewer water, okay? So I'm going to close that one. We still got all this open. So this is where you're going to fill your water, okay? So you'll put your hose on here, and you'll turn, let me see how it's plumbed. you'll turn the valve just like it is. Okay, that's how you fill the tank. Now, if you wanted to run off of city water, which city water is referencing like if you were at a campground or an event that had a water hose and a spigot on the side of their building or whatever, you could run from their building. You could go here, turn this valve this way, and what that's going to do is that's going to let water from your hydrant out here that's pressurize the coach without the pump running inside. So here for city, down for field. You do have another valve up here for tank flush. If you hook your like a water hose from a spigot up to this guy, what it does is it flushes the sewer tank. So not a bad idea to do every once in a while. Just kind of keeps the stench down and keeps it smelling good. Your sewer dump is up under here. There's a little cap. You'll need to get you like a flex hose that you would find at an RV store or on Amazon or whatever. Hook it into this. You'll want to dump the, let's see here, you'll want to dump the top valve first, okay? So the top valve is sewer, the bottom is gray water. Pull the top valve, let the sewer dump, let it quit running, then pull the bottom. And what that does is your gray water down here, that is sink water and shower water, has a lot of soap. So essentially what it does is cleans the hose out after you've dumped the sewer. So the little outlet here, that is just if you had the water pump on and you were in an event and you needed to fill a bucket up or wash something, you could hook a hose to this, turn your pump on inside, and that's essentially just like kind of having a spigot on the side of your house. So turn that guy on and you're going to get water out of him. Move on down. The next one is the generator. Another thing is anytime you close these, always, let me show you. So close, pull the handle, put your palm, give it a little knee action there. And what that does is that clicks the latch in. A lot of these will look like they're closed, but always make sure, because nothing worse than, you know, the hardware just bouncing around going down the door. Okay. This is the generator. It's got 386 hours on it. We serviced it at 384. You can normally put, they say up to 400 hours. I personally recommend servicing it at 200 hours, but it has a label here of when we done it. It's got 386 on it now, so you're good for a long time. And honestly, unless you're needing to run the roof air on it, I wouldn't even run the generator that much. You know, but if you have, if you buy a trailer and you want to, let's say, run the air conditioning system on a trailer, this truck does have a 50 amp hot outlet on the back. It's the yellow connector on the back deck there that you can plug your trailer into the truck, and you can run one generator. The generator powers up everything on your truck and also will power everything on your trailer. Moving on down, shore cord is in this one. So this guy is going to be couple different things. You've got a set of glad hand hoses, which do go with the truck. So if you're pulling an air ride trailer, you'll need these. These batteries right here are your engine batteries. So these batteries are what starts the cab and the engine on the truck. So if you ever had a dead battery on the truck, this right here is where you need to go to either charge them or replace them. The shore power cord is right here. So it's a 50 amp 4-pin, just like you would see that a dryer in a house would plug into or a welding machine would plug into. So this is what you'll need to use to hook up. There's a button back here that it is on a retract, so you press the button and it reels him in. And it has an automatic transfer switch, and what that means is when you plug this into the wall at your shop or your house, it'll feed power through this transfer switch and power everything up. And if you started your generator, let's say you had everything running and you're like, hey, we're fixing to leave, fire your generator up, this transfer switch will automatically choose generator power, and then you can unplug your shore power cord and everything's still running. So it doesn't like shut off and then have to all power back up. So that's down in that compartment. One thing that I will make a note, before you run these slides out, always make sure the doors are closed. You can actually see pretty much the only major scratch on the truck is right here, up and down. And what that's from is where someone had the door up like this and they ran the slides out, and the slide comes out and it starts pushing the door kind of down like this and creates a scratch. So FYI, always make sure that that someone has verified that all the doors are closed before you do the slides. Pretty simple up here. This little guy, down in Florida, probably won't use them a whole lot, but that's an engine block heater. So if you were in a real cold climate, you can take a cord, plug into the wall at your shop, plug into this, and it heats the engine up. The first little compartment here is your fuel tank, so diesel fuel in this guy. The next one over is DEF fluid. So the truck has emissions on it. You do want to make sure that the DEF is, never let it get low like a blinking light. These trucks, if they get too low on DEF fluid, they will shut off or go into like a lit mode. So DEF fluid here, diesel fuel over here. To pop the hood, there's straps on each side. You just pop each one off and then the hood raises up. We'll go on around. I think there's strap on each side, so that's simple. You probably saw the photos of the engine online, but super clean. It's polished up, man, ready to go. The awning and everything works, and the next video I do for you, we'll go ahead and show where the controls are at. So I'm going to turn this one off, and we'll pick up here in just a second on the inside. There you go. All right, so we'll start on the interior with the controls up here. This one right here is for the AC. So you press the bottom button to turn it on cool, and then you just set your thermostat up and down. Remember, for the AC to function, either A, the generator has to be on, or B, your shore power line has to be plugged in. And if your house batteries were dead for some reason, the thermostat works on 12 volts. So big deal of keeping it plugged in when you're not using it, and that just keeps everything maintained. It's got an onboard charging system, so if you plug him in, everything will come alive and stay charged. So thermostat for the AC. These are just light switches. One of them does the overheads, one of them does some decorative lighting, one of them does what's called indirect, which is some lighting up here in the corner. This does floor lighting, so there's some lights that lights up the floor at night. This one is the porch light, okay? The next control is the awning control. What you'll do to turn it on, again, it's something else that runs off of either 120 volt, which means generator or shore power has to be active, but press the green button. You've got extend, stop, and retract. So extend, the awning's going to run all the way out. If you only wanted, let's say you were parked at an event and you only had 5 foot of space, you can hit extend, watch it run out, hit stop, and it will stop right where it's at. When you're done, hit retract. Down here is wind sensors. These do have motion sensors on them, to where the awning is, if you, let's say you're at an event and you go up to do whatever and a storm blows in. Well, if you have the wind sensor set, it will retract the awning on its own, saves it from getting damaged. It's a super cool feature, but you can set it low sensitivity. If it's kind of a brisk day and there's a little wind in the air at all times, you can set it to where it makes it, it won't roll in unless there's like a really bad wind. So anyways, you can play with those on the bottom. These two are light awning lights. So when you run the awning out, you can turn both these on and it like lights the area up, kind of gives you some lighting out there on your patio or concrete or wherever you're parked. So we'll go up top here. The first one, this is the generator control. So you can start the generator from up here, or you can start it from down there. To fire it up, you just put your hand on this. The little light will blink. Keep holding it. What it's doing is preheating the motor. And then you can hear it. You probably heard it in the video there, but when it fires up, the light will stay orange. The generator runs on the same fuel as the truck. So I think the pickup tube is welded into the tank at about a quarter tank. So you never want to let your truck get below a quarter. Otherwise, the generator may not run. This is part of that Magnum inverter that I mentioned in the last video. So when this generator's running, it's going to charge your batteries, just like if you were at your shop and had the truck plugged into a shore power cord. You can also do invert, which is going to make your TV, all your stuff run down the road without the generator. So if this guy was off, you come over here and turn this inverter in the on position, and it's going to power up all your electronics, pretty much anything in this truck, a lot of outlets and stuff, it's going to make run without the generator actually on. But my personal preference, if I'm using the coach, I normally run the generator at all times, but you don't have to do that. If you've got good battery voltage, you can turn invert on, you can run your TV. The only thing you can't run is your air conditioning. So that would be a reason to, if it was hot out, to fire your generator up. Up here, you got a DVD player, direct TV. You'll want to take that direct TV out. There's a serial number on the bottom. I will text you a phone number to a gentleman that takes care of our direct TV accounts. Call him, give him the serial number. he might be able to use this box. He might have to send you a new one, but this is it's kind of already cut into a real neat wood frame. I would prefer that you move this DirecTV box over into your name, but if he can't, then he can send you the new one. But I will call the previous owner of this truck and ask him to call DirecTV this week and take the service out of his name. That way it allows you to assign the serial number on this box to your name. The wind guard, so to run the DirecTV, you have to have this little switch down in the on position. If that's not on, the in-motion satellite will not send a signal to this box, which means you will not get anything on your screen. So I'm going to turn him back off, but you do want to turn him on if you want the satellite. This up here is still part of the wind guard system. I'm pretty sure if you had an issue with it, that's where they'll tie in to help you. Here's your battery voltage. So right now we're running the generator, which is charging the batteries, and we're showing 14 volts, which is perfect. Our fresh water's at 72%, gray is 0, black's 25, and we are going to dump that right quick before they get on the road, just so it's not packing it down the road. Up here is your water pump, so that's a 12-volt pump. When you turn that on, you'll hear the little water pump spin and hear him pressure up, so that's your pump. This down here is stereo video, so if you press this, if the green light's on, I'm pretty sure the stereo plays. If you press it again, no, there we go. So stereo's red. Video is, you can see it bouncing back and forth. That's off, stereo, video. So what that does is there's speakers all through the coach, and you can either play something from the stereo, or you do video, which is going to play like the DirecTV or DVD player through the speakers. So that's just a little switch over. Pumps back off. We're good up here. I'm going to go ahead and shut the generator down. They won't run the hours up on it on the way there, so we'll shut him back off, and I'm just going to hold the button down and you'll hear him power down. Moving on back, pretty self-explanatory back here. Cabinets, just a lot of storage up there. Microwave. Guy said he never used the microwave and it looks brand new. You do have a stainless sink here. More storage everywhere. Oh, one thing I need to show you. Not in this one. There is TV remotes and some spare parts and stuff in that. In here, look at there. He left his cooking utensils and some spare water fittings and stuff. So all that goes with it. There was the hot water fitting is right here, or not fitting, but the control panel. So the hot water heater will run on two methods: gas, which is the left switch, or electric. You would always want to run electric if you're running your generator or your shore power is plugged in, because in my eyes, there's no sense in burning propane up if you've got electricity readily available. But if you were running down the road and you wanted hot water and you didn't have the generator running, you would turn this to gas on. Make sure your propane valve is on the outside of the coach, and which it normally is always on. We really never turn them off, but make sure that guy's on. The valve's on, and then you'll hear it tick a few times. It'll ignite, and if you walk outside to the hot water heater and put your hand by the little grill, you'll feel some radiant heat, and it's getting the water hot. I'll take the camera and spin around here for just a second. Down here, there is your paint codes. So if you ever needed something touched up on this truck, there is some little bottles of touch-up paint in it, but that's pretty cool. I'm glad that they done that. They put the unit number and the date it was painted, and the exact paint codes from Sickens, which is a really big name in paint there. So, okay. Back here, you got the fridge. So how the fridge works, he'll run off of propane or electricity. Again, it's going to run on propane if you're running down the road and not running the generator. If you start the generator, it's going to convert over to electricity. So if the little green dot is on down here, and you can see on the panel, that means he is running. But you can see I can press mode. I can do AU, which is auto, and it's going to choose. You can do, you can set the temp up and down. And if the inverter is on, it's going to still do electricity. And I think the inverter is running now. So he's good and cold. Keep in mind, it's an RV fridge. They're not quite like a house fridge, but they do get cold enough to maintain food, and they will freeze ice in the top. So it's good to go there. We'll slip into the bathroom and show you this guy. The toilet. So the toilet is a vacuum flush Tecma. It's got two buttons. That is a low water flush, which means it's not going to put as much water back in the bowl. That one is a heavy flush. You do have to have the water pump on in order for this to work, but you can do a conservative water flush or a deep water flush. And so that's right there. Got a little sink, some more storage, overhead little medicine cabinet. It's got the manual for the toilet here. Around here, there is a control on the wall for max air fan. So that is the fan that is up above. If you're taking a shower, you do want that guy on because he'll pump all the steam out. But turn him on, you can do air in or air out, open or close. You can even set a temp to where it's kind of thermostat controlled. It'll come on when it needs to, but you can speed it up, lower it down. Your light controls are here. And then we do have the shower. So big deal, going down the road, always make sure that guy is latched. Okay, if not, the door could potentially run back and forth in the track and damage it. But very simple, clean, nice, neat, looks brand new. I love it. So we'll move on around. I'll have Nancy grab the camera there again. So this is a big deal, okay? And when we got this truck in, it took my guys about 10-15 minutes to find the controls, but these slide out controls are up in here on each side. You can see it. You slide that little wood thing over and there's a button. It says slide in, slide out. So you press him one time and it's either going to run in, or if the slide is out and you're needing to bring it back in, you press him one time and the slide will come in. So when you take and open this one up and then slide that little port over, and the slide out controls in there. The dinette, you do have storage down here. A lot of your manuals, actually I think all of the original owner's manuals for the truck and the conversion are all down in that one. And then we'll move over to this one, and this one's just storage. So all the manual storage is right there. As I had told you earlier this week on the phone, all the original tags are on the furniture in the coach side and even in the cab. So pretty amazing. I love selling nice stuff like this because it's just, you know what to expect when you get it. It looks literally brand new. Same way up here, the slide out control for this one. Open this compartment, shove that little guy back, and there's a button in there. The slide motors do run on 12 volts, so again, you got to have 12 volts or higher to make them function. Inside the cab, or the coach here, you do have day and night shades. So this is the day version, or if you want to black it out, you pull this one down and it blocks all the light out. Underneath here, you do have a hide-a-bed with a queen size. So you pull these 3 cushions off, grab the handle, pull out, it unfolds, and I'm pretty sure it's an air mattress. So it's queen size, so you can comfortably sleep in here. I believe that's it, man. The cab's walkthrough. I'll have my dad, when he gets there, show you all the controls. If you have a question, I'm not sure if you're driving it or if you have a gentleman that's going to drive it for you, but we will do a good job of explaining any questions you have in there. So give me a shout, man. Again, I appreciate the business and look forward to working with you in the future. Dylan Thompson, Chase Motorsports.